right, so I'm going live again. I said I wouldn't make a habit of it, and I intend to stick to that, but here I am. Greetings, interplanetary travelers. We're looking at a oil painting 4x4 in my living room of Sun Ra that my friend Adam Gabriel Winnie painted in, I think, 2005 or 2006. He did a series of maybe 20 different figures that were an artistic inspiration to him. I've also got one of Alejandro Jodorowsky on the other wall. And like I say, I don't really intend to be a live streamer, but I have been participating in the Sun Ra Arkive live streams on YouTube this week, and wanted to call people's attention to it. I don't know, people that are fans on my channel may be interested in the content over there. There was 4 sessions on esoteric subject matter and Chicago era Sun Ra compositions, and then a 3-part overview of the Sun Ra library, which I'm going to add a little bit onto today here. But first, I can do an authentic unboxing video for you. Got this in the mail just today. Let's see what it is, and if it's Sun Ra related. Having a hard time with it. All right. Very good. We finally got the brand new Sun Ra Prophet on Modern Harmonic. These are 1986 recordings, produced by Sun Ra and Bill Sebastian, August 25th, 1986. 4 tracks: The Prophet, Infinity Excursion, The Prophet at Play, and The Prophet Returns, which feature Sun Ra on the Prophet synthesizer. I've listened to it a couple times on Bandcamp so far, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time with it. As always with Modern Harmonic, very well printed, high quality stuff. And it's translucent yellow vinyl. Beautiful. This will have to go on the turntable in a little while. It's also got this insert. Oh, very nice. It's got a liner notes in the form of a Prophet VS manual. A reprint of a Prophet VS manual, I guess, and an essay by Brother Cleve on the back here, who we lost this year, I think. He did great work on a lot of these Modern Harmonic reissues, writing various essays contextualizing Sun Ra's work. And in addition, I hadn't picked these up before, so I've got the Lady with the Yellow Stockings and Rocket Number 9, 10-inch records. A little write-up by Charles Bloss on the lady, on both of them actually. Rocket Number 9's got Ankh Nation and Project Black Mass, which I believe are still otherwise unavailable on vinyl. They're released as bonus tracks from the Sun Ra LLC Bandcamp. This one, Lady with the Golden Stockings, got Spontaneous Simplicity and Love in Outer Space. And these are colored vinyl as well, though I'm not going to pull them out of the sleeve at the moment. there's a third one, Nuclear War, and I think Outer Reach Intensity Energy on the back that, as far as I could tell, didn't actually get released, only exists as a promo. So I haven't picked that up yet. In the background here, we're listening to the new Craft Recording 60th Anniversary Edition of Futuristic Sounds of Sun Ra. I don't know how well it's coming through in the live stream. It's got a reproduction of the original Savoy cover with the essay by Tom Wilson on the back. It is all analog mastered by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. This is actually my first time listening to it. I have to spend some more time with it. But as far as I can tell, it's the best, certainly the best vinyl recording we got of Futuristic Sounds of Sun Ra, and maybe the best sounding overall so far. It's a mono record originally, and this has kind of wide stereo separation, which some people don't like that well, but it's at least interesting to hear the stereo separation. It's also got an essay by Erwin Chusid and an essay by Ben Young on the insert. So those are two records that came out this year. Maybe we're going to do a more in-depth analysis on the Sun Ra Archive live streams in the future of a full roundup of what came out this year. We also had the Universe in Blue reissue on LP and CD, and Art Yard put out 7-inch. And earlier this year, Ra to the Rescue. I'm not sure where my copy of that is at the moment. I picked up the limited edition shower curtain version of it, which was a cool thing they put out. What else do I got to show you? I don't know, everyone's probably seen this photo, but it's just amazing. This is a photo by Leni Sinclair of the whole orchestra at the 1980 Detroit Jazz Center residency, which I bought personally from Leni a couple years ago. And I've got this poster from a centennial show that WCBN in Ann Arbor put on 2014, the Planet D Nonet, performing music of Sun Ra, as they do very well. Lucky to have that in the local music community. So, like I said, of the last 3 live streams Christopher Eddy's done his Sun Ra Archive live stream. He did a great comprehensive overview of the various books in the Sun Ra library. I'm just going to jump in with a couple additions that he maybe doesn't have yet. I don't have, my library aligns pretty closely with his. He's got a few things I don't, but I don't have. I'm a newer Sun Ra fan, the last 20 years or so I've got the newer stuff. Brand new thing that's come out, Sun Ra Sundays by Rodger Coleman, edited by Sam Byrd, which was originally blog posts on the New Void blog. Does it say it's like 2006 to 2016 or so? Maybe a little bit more narrow. But basically, Rodger Coleman went through and did kind of a deep listening to a big chunk of the Sun Ra catalog. Starting in 1961, he skips futuristic sounds and basically kicks off with Bad and Beautiful, and takes it through 1977. And I guess the beginning of 78, he covers the Horo LPs, the Sun Ra Quartet material from early 1978 in Italy. But this is like everything he could get his hands on. So we've got all kinds of unreleased concerts, everything that the Transparency label put out in that time period. And it's pretty comprehensive. This was put together, Sam Byrd put together a PDF of this, and Erwin Chusett had done the same thing. So both of their versions were available online. But now this has got a open access publication. You can get the free PDF from the digital press at the University of North Dakota. And it's also available at a $20 paperback, well put together. Sam added an epilogue that kind of fills in the rest of the Sun Ra discography in a very brief manner. And it's got hyperlinks at the back to the Bandcamp releases of most of the material. So definitely check that out. I put together a document that's got links to YouTube videos for the unreleased material, which I've got, most of which I've got on my channel. If anybody's reading this and trying to track down the rarer recordings. Another book I don't think Chris mentioned is, sorry if you don't like being called Chris, it's Instinct, Christopher. How did I become a Sun Ra fan? Well, basically, I got involved at WCBN college radio station and WCBN in Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, around 2000, and got exposed through that. We had pretty much all the Evidence CDs, pretty good LP collection, the Impulse releases, and the 80 stuff, Sunrise in Different Dimensions. And we also had like everything that the Leo label put out. And so I was kind of immersed quickly in Sun Ra. It was something that was in the air, and did some jazz programs in my early years at the station. We used to have jazz till noon 5 days a week. So I had done that for quite a while, and I always played some Sun Ra. And then it just kind of got deeper and deeper from that. Maybe we could talk about it a little bit more if we do a future live stream. You wanted to interview me kind of about why I'm doing the channel and save some of that material. But at some point, I picked up the Transparency Detroit Jazz Center 28 CD box, I think at Amoeba Records in San Francisco, for a very reasonable price, $60, $70. And just on a whim bought it and got really deep into that. And this was kind of the Transparency era, where we weren't getting a lot of official reissues of stuff, and all the stuff was on the market that was kind of just copied from the trader community and put on commercial CDs without much sophisticated quality control, ethical considerations, etc. But despite those issues, I know Erwin Chusett really hates the Transparency material for kind of diluting the Sun Ra market, maybe. But I've got them all, and kind of got deeper into the unreleased material that way. So that's a brief. Yeah, I've heard that before. Thanks so much, Christopher Eddy did. He says he did the remaster, and I think it kind of got used by Michael Shepard in the transparency label without any permission or credit. But a great thing that you have done, putting that out into the world. It's just an amazing document, and I sort of hope that it. Well, I've got it up on the YouTube channel, but there's like you could just make a dozen LPs out of it, or do all sorts of stuff with that material. Just endless study. So a book that didn't get mentioned, I don't think, on Christopher Sun Ra library overview is this one, Blutopia by Graham Locke. Visions of the Future and Revisions of the Past in the work of Sun Ra, Duke Ellington, and Anthony Braxton. This was a book that really got me deeper into Sun Ra. The first part covers Sun Ra. Part 1, Sun Ra and Starward Eye, Astro Back, Mythic Future, Mythic Past. And then part 2 of Aliens and Angels, Mythic Identity. This is Duke University Press, 1999. And kind of compares and contrasts and draws a line through the music of Duke Ellington, Sun Ra, and Anthony Braxton. There's also a book, Chasing the Vibration, Meetings with Creative Musicians by Graham Locke, that has a Sun Ra interview in it that I have a photocopy of somewhere, but I don't have the book. And then the last thing that I was going to show off, since we're covering the Sun Ra library, is this amazing creation that I haven't spent much time with yet, but I think in 2021, Corbett versus Dempsey in Chicago put out this facsimile edition of the Immeasurable Equation. This was the big one, is Extensions Out, Volume 2, Immeasurable Equation by Sun Ra. And then a smaller zine size Immeasurable Equation. The 1972 edition, I think. Oh my, did the same thing. So it's got facsimiles of the original self-published Sun Ra books of poetry. And then liner note poems from Jazz and Silhouette and Jazz by Sun Ra. So that's a real nice thing. I think is still available. And as far as I know, everything, well, I know pretty sure that everything in these 4 texts is also included in the 2005 Wait a While edition. But the Wait a While edition's alphabetical order indexed for comparison shows the 72 and 80 versions of a lot of poems. So I look forward to spending some time with this edition, getting a little closer to Sun Ra's original presentation. So that's about all I have. These books got covered in the Sun Ra Archive live stream, but I was going to talk for a minute about This Planet is Doomed and Prophetika Book 1. So This Planet is Doomed This Planet is Doomed came out in 2011. The previous year, there were these 3-volume Space Poetry LPs, Strange Worlds in My Mind. And The Outer Darkness. I think that's actually volume 3. And The Subdwellers, I think, is volume 2. So what This Planet is Doomed is, for the most part, is transcriptions that I think were done by the editor, Miriam Lina, of basically all the material that's on the 3 LPs, and then a dozen more poems that I presume are just from recordings that didn't get included in the series. So as mentioned before, I am doing a little bit of work sorting out everything in here. It's not the most carefully put together book. Everything is lowercase. There's a few obvious mistakes, and it like repeats a poem 3 times. And so it's a little bit frustrating, but this was the book. I got it right when it came out at the end of 2011, and this really got me interested in sunrise poetry, aware of sunrise poetry. It was a couple years before I got the 2005 edition of Immeasurable Equation and got a little deeper into it. But it was good for that, at least. I got this little postcard with it, with the cover, and the release show, Lost Science Fiction Poetry of Sun Ra, revealed for the first time 7/17/11 at the renowned and luxurious Lakeside Lounge, NYC. Readings by Sun Ra Music Archive Executive Director Michael D. Anderson, with special guest Andre Williams. Books, records, and perfume available. They also had 2 different Sun Ra perfumes available through the Kicks Books, Norton Records Empire. I'm not sure what the first one was called, and then there was a Prophetika perfume. So Prophetika came out in 2014, I think, and it's similar to This Planet is Doomed in that it's transcripts of recordings, but this time it's kind of a lot of sermons, space chants, live music material. I haven't quite figured out exactly where this material is coming from, but I'm sort of working on that. And it seems to follow the Detroit 1980 recordings pretty closely in the second half of the book. A lot of these transcripts, like I'm not sure what, for example, but I've got a document putting that together. It says on the back, a lost trove of unpublished end times poetry and prose is unleashed in Sun Ra's terrifying new trilogy, Prophetika. Here, Book 1 delivers hard-edged poetic predictions and prognostications to mankind from the doomsday pen of visionary genius Sun Ra. So I don't know if the other 2 installments in the trilogy were prepared at all or what, if that material's out there somewhere. But overall, these are both inessential poetry books. The 2005 edition of Immeasurable Equation is probably what you want to dig deep in. And this facsimile edition is also really great, from Corbett versus Dempsey. Let me look around me and see if anything else has. I didn't buy the perfume. Oh, all right. A stack of 16 books overlooked. As Serious as Your Life, I don't have a copy of, but that's definitely a core book in the Sun Ra library by Val Wilmer. And let me look around me and see. Oh, I was gonna actually pull this out. like I mentioned on the last live stream. Old friend of mine, colleague at WCBN in Ann Arbor, and longtime radio broadcaster Michael G. Nastos. Departed like a month ago, I guess. And I got to know him pretty well from the time I was doing my Sun Ra radio show, Interplanetary Music, which ran on WCBN from 2015 to 2019, I believe. And then I revived it this past summer, somewhat unsuccessfully. But he gave me this clipping from 1986, when Eclipse Jazz presented Sun Ra at Lydia Mendelsohn Theater in Ann Arbor, the University of Michigan. It's called The Legend of Sun Ra. Jazz in the Space Age, an interesting concept given our fascination with the vast universe and omniverse that surrounds planet Earth and the unpredictable quality of America's sole original art form. The Challenger tragedy brings all the more into focus the discipline needed to explore outer space and terrain. Coincidentally, Sun Ra, master of space and time, jazz pianist, purported traveler of the spaceways, and native of Saturn, is coming back to this area to give Ann Arborites some insight into other worlds they have not told you of. The mystery of Mr. Ra, who plays Saturday night at Lydia Mendelsohn Theater, is the stuff of which legends are made. Herman Sonny Blanc became known on this earth initially as a pianist in the big bands of Horace and Fletcher Henderson in the 1940s. But since the mid-50s, Blanc, aka Sun Ra, has been speaking of those outer reaches of the galaxy through his music. Earthlings in Ann Arbor will have had many opportunities to witness the spectacle of Ra's stage show, his historic sets at the 1972 and 73 Blues and Jazz Festivals, the 1978 and 79 Eclipse Jazz Festivals, and appearances at the New Old Brick, Second Chance, and Michigan Union Ballroom bring back fond memories to local residents. Ra's last appearance in this area was October 1983 at Detroit's St. Andrews Hall. Sun Ra has been extensively documented on record, one of the few jazz musicians who have continually had their music faithfully produced and released for the public. His original projects, recorded on the Delmark and Savoy labels, as well as his own Saturn Research label, reissued by Impulse, have been fairly widely available. That seems like a kind of curious thing to say in 1986. Ra has also recorded for many European and American independent labels. He has, in addition to being heard on vinyl with his orchestra, waxed with quartets and as a solo pianist. The orchestra potpourri of all-star musicians, including longtime members like tenor saxophonist John Gilmore, altoist Marshall Allen, and vocalist June Tyson, have been traveling frequently across the planet, with many dates in Europe for more than 30 years. With the music that the ignorant term avant-garde, although knowledgeable jazz lovers enjoy his firmly rooted cosmic efforts, Ra retains a loyal following of devotees fascinated with his command of music and his understanding of the human condition. In a lengthy and revealing interview the day after the Challenger disaster, Ra defended the space program by observing that we have 5 billion people hemmed up on one planet, so it is necessary to explore space. That should be done. Conversely, Ra feels NASA's approach is all wrong spiritually. It is down to discipline. Somebody didn't do their job. They were hasty. These men need to hear music, contact spirits. They're dealing with false ideals. They need to research truth. Ra also thinks America tends to be too haughty. First the glory, then the shame. America's gotten too proud lately, and you cannot be a hypocrite. Also, you've got to watch words like naming the shuttle Challenger. You don't go challenging space, it's a losing proposition. In the way that water power can create electricity, Ra thinks that music is also a propellant. They need a different kind of fuel. Music is strong, very strong, more powerful than the liquids they use. They're on the wrong track. Ra is also concerned about the myth of freedom in this country. Freedom killed the astronauts. Freedom alone won't do anything. They need to scratch that word from the dictionary. They've got to start dealing with spiritual things. Not religious things, spiritual things, precision and discipline. Ra also sees the plight of Black society as unfortunate but changeable. He sees the problems of Black people as linked to improper language usage, the concept of shelter, and the obsession with beat music and being number one. Popular music is dedicated to dancing and the physical only, he says. It's all wrong, even though if you have a false shelter and ideals, it is better than nothing at all. Jazz is too strong for teenagers, he says. They don't relate to the romantic. But life is imprisonment, life is death. If we don't change this today, there will be drastic trouble for this planet, above and beyond what has recently happened. As he did 3 decades ago, Ra emphasizes, I'm still saying space is the place. But so many deal with only this earth plane, their homes, their families. I know about happiness, I'm still doing beauty. In response to descriptions of him as a crackpot, Ra says, whatever I am, I have the humanity of the world at heart. Ra has lived in Philadelphia for 10 years after a long residency in Chicago, and has just toured Portugal, Spain, Sardinia, and Yugoslavia. The government of France wants him to take up a 2-year residency there. He remains a major figure all over Europe, and the quality of this edition of the 15-piece Myth, Science, Jet Set, Omniverse Orchestra is top-notch as usual. With events as they are, maybe we would be wise to listen to Sun Ra's wisdom through music. That's the article. I'm gonna haven't found the data. I'm gonna go to the library and see if I can track it down. I believe it's from the Ann Arbor News. And I just wanted to read that aloud in Michael G's memory. Let's see if there's more. Oh, Brad Marcus, space greetings to you. Yeah, that's about all I've got. My main point of this live stream is to point you towards the Sun Ra Archive live streams, which has been great content, and look forward to where that goes in the new year. A link to the live streams on the Sun Ra Archive YouTube page is in the description. And yeah, that's about all I've got. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you the next time.